My name is David Rosenberg. I'm 55 years old, and until 3 months ago, I would have laughed at anyone who told me a story like the one I'm about to share. I'm Jewish by birth, but atheist by conviction. Or rather, I was. I worked my entire life as a civil engineer, a man of science, of precise calculations, of tangible proof. God, to me, was merely a primitive human construction to deal with the fear of death and the unknown. Religion, organized superstition, faith, intellectual weakness. But then I died, and everything changed. It was an ordinary August morning. The sky was clear, and I was driving on the highway on my way to the office, thinking about the projects I needed to review. Traffic was flowing normally, when suddenly a loaded truck lost control and crossed the center lane. I had no time to swerve. I remember the violent impact, the metal twisting, the glass shattering around me, and then simply nothing. According to the doctors who treated me, my heart stopped at the accident site. Paramedics attempted resuscitation for 40 minutes without success. I was declared dead at 7:43 a.m. on August 15th, 2024. My body was taken to the hospital, where I remained in the morgue for hours. My wife Rachel was called to identify the body. My children, Sarah and Michael, traveled urgently from other cities to say goodbye. What happened in the following 24 hours defies everything I believed during more than 5 decades of life. There was no darkness. There was no end. There was no nothingness that I always imagined would come after death. Suddenly, I was conscious, more conscious than I had ever been in my entire life. I floated above my own destroyed body in the ambulance, watching the paramedics working frantically over that shell that was no longer me. I felt a deep and inexplicable calm, as if I finally understood that broken and lifeless body wasn't really me. It was just the vehicle I had used. Then came the tunnel. I know it sounds like a cliché, like all those stories I used to ridicule, but it's absolutely real. A golden and living light pulled me gently, and I had no desire whatsoever to resist. The light didn't hurt my eyes. It was infinitely welcoming, alive, pulsating with a love I had never experienced. Absolute, unconditional love that instantly dissolved any fear, any doubt, any pain I had carried throughout my entire existence. When I emerged from the tunnel, I was in a place that defies any description with human words. It was like an infinite field of liquid golden light, where time simply didn't exist. Colors that don't exist on Earth danced around me, and then he was there, standing before me. I knew who he was before even asking, before even thinking. His eyes contained the entire history of the universe, all possible compassion, all accumulated wisdom since the beginning of time. He smiled at me, and in that smile was the answer to every doubt I ever had, to every question I ever asked, to every anguish I ever felt. "David," he said, and his voice was like celestial music crossing through my soul, reverberating in every particle of my being. "You've been searching for me your whole life without knowing. Every time you helped someone, every time you loved, every time you sought truth, you were searching for me." I fell to my knees, or whatever knees were in that transcendent place. Tears that weren't physical streamed down my face. All my intellectual arrogance, all my scientific certainty, all my convinced atheism instantly dissolved before that overwhelming presence. "Jesus," I murmured, completely incredulous. "But I didn't believe in you. I mocked you. I'm Jewish. I rejected everything about you my whole life." He extended his hand with infinite tenderness and lifted me up. His hands had marks, the marks of the nails. I touched them and felt all the love he had for humanity flow through them. I'm also Jewish, David, he said, smiling, and you were always mine, even when you denied it. True faith isn't about religious labels or empty rituals. It's about genuine love, and you loved deeply. Your wife, your children, your friends, even strangers on the street. You lived my essential message without knowing my name, without recognizing my face. I cried, like I had never cried in my entire life. All the carefully constructed intellectual barriers, all the academic pride, all the arrogant certainty completely dissolved before that presence of pure and unconditional love. He walked with me through that impossible and wonderful place, showing me things I have no words to describe. Then he stopped, turned to me, and looked at me with an infinite depth that penetrated to the core of my soul. David, I will entrust 3 sacred secrets to you. Take them back to the world. Share them with those who have ears to hear and hearts open to receive.
He began with the first secret about time. Time is a merciful illusion created so that you, limited humans, can learn love progressively, step by step. In eternal reality, everything has already happened and is always happening simultaneously. Past, present, and future exist together in me, in the eternal now. When you truly love, you touch eternity. That's why a single moment of genuine love can seem to last forever, can transform an entire lifetime. Love transcends time because love is eternal as I am. Then he shared the second secret about creation. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you perform creates invisible waves in the fabric of the universe that never die, that propagate through eternity. You are true co-creators of reality with me. What you call miracles are simply reality responding to authentic faith. Faith isn't blindly believing in the impossible. It's deeply recognizing that nothing is impossible for love. Your prayers, your intentions, your acts of kindness shape the universe in ways you can't even imagine. Finally, he revealed the third secret about suffering. Human suffering isn't divine punishment. It's necessary transformation. It's the sacred friction that transforms common coal into precious diamond. Every pain you endure with love, with faith, with hope, brings you infinitely closer to me. Because I also suffered intensely. The cross wasn't the end of the story. It was the eternal bridge between the human and the divine, and each of you carries your own unique cross to build your own personal bridge between the temporal and the eternal, between flesh and spirit. He touched my forehead with infinite tenderness, and I felt an energy of pure love flood my entire being. It's not yet your time, David. Your work on earth isn't complete. Go back and tell what you saw, what you experienced. Many are lost in the suffocating darkness of skepticism, imprisoned in the cage of materialism, as you were. Be my light to them. Be my living witness. I woke up in the ICU exactly 24 hours after the accident. The monitors started beeping frantically. Nurses ran to the room. Doctors appeared in seconds, completely perplexed. According to all medical protocols, according to all the science I so venerated, I should have been dead, cold in the morgue, but I was alive, breathing, conscious. My wife Rachel was by my side, her eyes red from crying so much. When she saw me open my eyes, she screamed with joy and fell upon me, sobbing uncontrollably. The doctors called it an inexplicable medical miracle. I simply call it divine grace. Dr. Mendez, the chief cardiologist, told me later, "Mr. Rosenberg, I witnessed your death certificate. You were clinically dead for 24 hours. There's no scientific explanation for what happened. Your brain should have suffered irreversible brain damage from lack of oxygen. Your heart simply shouldn't have started beating again. But here you are, not only alive, but neurologically perfect. It's impossible. But it happened. because the impossible is only that which we haven't yet witnessed. In the following days, while I physically recovered in the hospital, I shared every detail of my experience with Rachel. She's a practicing religious person and always prayed silently for my conversion during our 30 years of marriage. When I finished telling everything, she simply smiled through tears and whispered, "I always knew he had special plans for you, David. Always knew." Today, 3 months later, I'm a completely transformed man. I'm still Jewish. I'll always be Jewish by birth and heritage. But now I understand that Jesus didn't come to destroy the Torah or nullify our tradition, but to fulfill it perfectly. As he himself declared, he is the living bridge between heaven and earth, between God and lost humanity. I attend a messianic synagogue now, where other Jews who found Yeshua gather to worship. I didn't abandon my sacred heritage. I completed it, fully realized it. As he told me in that eternal place, true faith isn't about religious labels, but about transforming love.